So remember yesterday our book about Frederick and Mr. Pip and how Mr. Pip just wanted to spend time with Frederick? Well, Vice Principal Quincy is back from his long walk, and he wanted to come in and read with you guys, but he is otherwise distracted by all the sounds of the birds chirping outside, but we still get to spend time together, and I really like spending time with Vice Principal Quincy. This book is one of my absolute favorites by Dan Santat, and it's the first book I ever read by him, and it's called After the Fall, How Humpty Dumpty Got Back Up Again. I read this to third grade at Edison just a couple weeks ago, and I was going to get into some other classes, but I'm going to do it this way now. So, After the Fall, How Humpty Dumpty Got Back Up Again by Dan Santat. My name is Humpty Dumpty. This was my favorite spot, high up on the wall. I know, it's an odd place for an egg to be, but I loved being close to the birds. Then one day, I fell. I'm sort of famous for that part. Folks called it the Great Fall, which sounds a little grand. It was just an accident, but it changed my life. Fortunately, all the king's men managed to put me back together. Well, most of me. There were some parts that couldn't be healed with bandages and glue. How does Humpty Dumpty look in that picture? The picture on this side. After that day, I became afraid of heights. I was so scared that it kept me from enjoying some of my favorite things. And it looks like Humpty Dumpty likes some pretty sweet cereal. So does Mr. Fitzpatrick. I walked past the wall every day, and I would think about climbing the ladder again. I really missed the birds and being high above the city. But I could never do it, because I knew that accidents can happen. He's just kind of walking past that wall. I eventually settled for watching the birds from the ground. It wasn't the same, but it was better than nothing. Then one day, an idea flew by. Does anybody recognize what that idea could be? Making planes was harder than I thought. It was easy to get cuts and scratches, but day after day I kept trying and trying. Until I got it just right. Look at how beautiful that plane is. Very fancy paper airplane. Looks just like a bird. My plane was perfect and it flew like nothing could stop it. I hadn't felt that happy in a long time. It wasn't the same as being up in the sky with the birds, but it was close enough. Unfortunately, accidents happen. Oh no. What happened? They always do. Oh, where's that paper airplane going? I almost walked away again, but then I thought about all the time I'd spent working on my plane and all the other things I'd missed. I decided I was going to climb that wall. But the higher I got, the more nervous I felt. I didn't want to admit it. I was terrified. I didn't look up, I didn't look down. I just kept climbing, one step at a time. Until I was no longer afraid. Maybe now you won't think of me as that egg who was famous for falling. Crack, crack. Hopefully you'll remember me as the egg who got back up. What's happening to Humpty Dumpty? And learned to fly. The back of this book is really, really special. So when you compare it to the front, after the fall, how Humpty Dumpty got back up again. Life begins when you get back up. So he fell, he was scared, but he found small ways to get back. And then, when he had to, when his perfect plane went over the wall, he climbed, he faced his fears, but not only that, he became something much more beautiful and strong, and he really soared. One of my favorites. Thank you.